710 KIRO.
Traffic's all backed up. We're spending more time stopping than we are going.
Traffic on the 7s every morning, and traffic emergencies when they happen.
It's caught in traffic.
News Talk 710 KIRO.
For details.
The Dory Monson Show on News Talk 710 KIRO.
2:51 at News Talk 710 KIRO. Reason Magazine calls Seattle the second worst nanny city in the country. You and I are analyzing. Mark.
Hey, Dory. I'm really glad that you're covering the issue because I'm a musician in a local band called the Galaxy Machine, and I felt ever since I got here that we could be another Austin, Texas, you know, an international music mecca. But the city mothers and fathers, and in that I mean the city council and the mayor, keep putting so many restrictions on the local music clubs that it's become a very expensive proposition, you know, to run a business here based on live music. And that has to do with also the Puritanical State Liquor Control Board, but basically all of the restrictions based on all ages clubs, live music, the noise ordinances, licensing, security, insurance. It makes it crazy, and it's really hurt the music industry in Seattle. I think the city basically has a stranglehold on the music industry right now, and I really wish that that would go away. I'm hoping that someday someone will get elected to the city council and to the mayor's office who might actually be from the music industry, and maybe we can start to change that.
Yeah, that's really interesting you bring that up because I was talking to a musician just a couple weeks ago who was saying the same thing to me, that and what I think this represents once again is you are part of a constituency that doesn't have a lot of juice. I mean, you can't buy off politicians. I mean, this is a region that is run by developers, labor unions, state employees, and why? What's the commonality there? They all have juice. They've all got a lot of money, and if you don't have money, you cannot buy power, and buying power is the only way to get power in this region right now.
I think they're shooting themselves in the foot because think about the tax base, the increase in the tax base. If people were moving here for the music, think about the taxes on the music industry. Increased tourism. I mean, why is Seattle so afraid of tourists? I don't understand that.
You don't have enough power because you don't have enough money.
Well, maybe, Dory, because of this conversation with you, some of us will get together and try to create a political PAC again or something.
There you go.
We tried that again before in this town, and we had some success, so maybe it's time to try that again.
Got it. All right, Mark. Well, it's good to hear from you about the...
Thursday afternoon, 520 has the only bridge backups, eastbound from Montlake and westbound from 108th. It's pretty solid through Bellevue, though, down to Coal Creek on South 405. And your southbound backup into downtown Seattle on I-5 begins right around Northeast 85th down to the Convention Center. Traffic on the 7s every morning. Traffic emergencies when they happen on News Talk 710 KIRO. I'm Shane Cobain.
710 KIRO forecast mostly clear tonight. Low in the upper 40s to mid 50s. Sunny on Friday with a high in the 70s. And some clouds on Saturday with a high in the mid to upper 60s. It's 70 right now in downtown Seattle. Our next update is at the bottom of the hour or when news breaks on News Talk 710 KIRO. I'm Jim Valley in the KIRO 24-hour news center. Now it's time for the Ron and Don Show.
Start your engine.
Welcome to the award-winning 3-hour extravaganza we call the Ron and Don Show. They had a big rock concert. 75,000 people showed up for the rock concert, and then he jumped out in front of the crowd, and he took credit for 75,000 people. I don't know that there's a band in Berlin, and especially the two bands that I looked at that I had never heard of before, that could garner 200,000 people. And then, you know, you'd figure once the music's over, people would split. The way that people responded to him today is exactly the way that people have responded to him all over the United States, I think.
All I can say is if that's the case, then, you know, John McCain needs to get the Bobs to put on a concert in Berlin and then, you know, show up for a speech. I mean, come on. That's... I'm not sure. Of course, Rush is a comedian, guys. You know that. And, the problem is that people think a comic routine is actually the truth.
We come back. I want to ask him about the comments that Barack Obama made about Afghanistan today, because if there was a lull, it's when he talked about Afghanistan. And I'm just wondering if there has now been a shift in his policy and his rhetoric, and do we see Barack Obama now starting to move toward the middle? We'll talk to Dave about that next after we check the vehicles on News Talk 710 KIRO.
This is Luke Burbank, bringing you radio that will change your life, not for the better. Tonight from 7 to 10. But right now, they can give me all three anytime. It's the Ron and Don Show on News Talk 710 KIRO.
People of the world, this is our moment. This is our time.
324 on News Talk 710 KIRO. Our very own Dave Ross joins us. Rush Limbaugh today said that this is not our moment. Basically, Barack Obama has turned this into his moment for very selfish reasons to get himself elected, and he's a messiah or a JFK wannabe. How do you respond to that, Dave?
To say that somebody's trying to be elected president is selfish is laughable. He's in the bubble now. His life will never be normal. His family will never be the same. He will never really have any freedom. Remember, the Secret Service doesn't just keep the bad guys out, it also keeps him in. So the idea that this somehow advantages Barack Obama, if Barack Obama wanted to go for the gold, he would quit right now, write books, give lectures, and do motivational seminars, right? I frankly don't see how you can argue that throwing himself into this race somehow materially benefits Barack Obama.
Okay, let me play you his comment today about Afghanistan.
I recognize the enormous difficulties in Afghanistan. But my country and yours have a stake in seeing that NATO's first mission beyond Europe's borders is a success. For the people of Afghanistan and for our shared security, the work must be done. America can't do this alone. The Afghan people need our troops and your troops, our support and your support to defeat the Taliban and Al-Qaeda, to develop their economy, and to help them rebuild their nation. We have too much at stake to turn back now.
All right, Dave, is that a change in his stance when it comes to the war in Afghanistan, do you think?
I don't think so. He's been talking about Iraq being a distraction that took our eye off the ball where it should have been in Afghanistan. He's been talking about that. He's the one who said we need 2 more brigades there, and then McCain upped him and said, I'll put 3. But there's a reason he put that paragraph in there. Germany has limited the number of troops they'll send to Afghanistan to 3,500. He clearly thinks that's too low. He thinks that the nations of Europe have to send more troops and help us out, because he's pointing out when he's saying that we're all in this together, essentially, that what happens in Afghanistan can cause a bomb to go off in London or Madrid or even Berlin. He's saying you guys can't just think that you're safe just sitting on your hands there in Europe. You've got to help us with this fight. And actually, it echoes to Ronald Reagan's speech in '87 when he was trying to point out to the Europeans that the reason he stationed missiles in Europe, which there were anti-Reagan demonstrators of the Reagan speech in 1987 because he put those missiles there, is that the Soviet Union is not playing with the pop guns, and neither can we. And it turned out that we prevailed in that standoff. And Barack Obama is saying that the terrorist threat is real. And you guys have to help us with it.
Hey, Dave, the whole larger issue, though, of him moving towards the middle a little bit, in my mind, when he was battling Hillary, that's one political landscape where he had to say what he had to say. In my mind, it's astute politics to move a little bit closer to the middle because it's a different battle. I don't look at that as a guy waffling. I look at it, hey, that's pretty good politics.
Well, I mean, everybody does this, but what you have to make sure you don't do is sacrifice your principles or end up contradicting yourself.